Hello everyone, Randy here, and getting the truck warmed up here. We're going to do a little more work on the truck here. 1988 Ford Ranger. Got a little something sitting over here. Hopefully that should give you folks a hint as to what we're going to do here. So, I'll get her backed out here a moment. Take it down to the barn. As you can see, a little bit of snow and ice out here at the moment. The roads are at least clear for the most part. Okay, we'll see if we can get up in the barn here. It's a little bit icy, so we might need four-wheel drive. Ease onto it. Oh yeah. Not a problem. Okay. So yeah, hopefully folks can see that. It's a little bit icy coming up into the barn here. And it probably doesn't show it in the video, but it is uphill into the barn here. I will have to say one thing. I do have a set of winter tires for this truck. Firestone Winter Force tires. Absolutely love these things. Haven't had too many problems stopping or starting out with these tires. Okay, I'll be back in a minute here. We're going to get it jacked up and we'll proceed with the messy business. Folks can probably tell we got the old coat on. I think you'll find out why. Okay folks, got her all jacked up off the ground here. Going to start it back up here a minute. And we're just going to put it in gear and let it warm up a minute. Yeah, we're doing 15 miles an hour without moving anywhere. Anyway, while that's going, just to show you guys something in a minute. Hopefully you can hear me okay with that running back there. I sucked a little transmission fluid out of the transmission here last weekend. Still got it sitting in the tub here yet. Hopefully you can see that. And just to show you the color, because you really can't tell the color. I mean, it looks dark, right? But that is what it looks like. Look on the camera here, it looks kind of reddish, but just the naked eye, it looks very brown to me. You know, comparison here, if I, red. Anyway, that is obviously what we're going to be doing. We're going to be changing the transmission fluid on the old truck here. See the old tire spinning there. The one on the other side is not. The brake on that side is a little tighter. That is why. I'm going to either have to tighten the brake up on this side or loosen the one on that side. But anyway, right there's the pan. So we'll let this warm up a few minutes. Or maybe about like 15 minutes probably. And then we'll come back and the fun will begin. Okay folks, I think I've been warming up long enough here. Put her in park. Shut it off. Okay. And now the fun part begins. Okay, let's figure out where I'm going to set this camera here a moment. So you guys can see that. Maybe set it on the other side too. We'll see once how this goes. Obviously, you don't want to have the camera too close here, so. Okay. And I don't remember what size this is again. I just did this here, maybe 4 or 5 months ago. Metric, I'm sure. Let's see here. Probably 13. And whatever size socket that is, it keeps falling off. 13 it is. What is that? That is a 19 that keeps falling off. Okay, get lost. Don't think I need you anymore. So just kind of go around and loosen them all up here. Like I said, it was just off, so it shouldn't be too bad. And I'm assuming the seal should be good yet, hopefully. If not, I do have a new gasket. Most filter kits come with gaskets, by the way, so. And hopefully it's not dripping yet. I need to get over on this side so I can actually see these. 2 up, or yeah, was it, no, 4 up front here. A little bit of a pain to get out because this it's kind of like right in the way here. And I'm kind of watching for fluid to start dripping out here because I'm like right under it. Okay, just a quick check here. I think that is all of them. I'm gonna tighten that back up actually. Because that one's loose, that one's loose, that one's loose. And what we're going to do, we're going to work our way from the back towards the front here. I just want to make sure they're all loose here first. Okay, I do believe that is all of them. Actually, I might be able to get away without the extension. I can, okay. Yeah. Nothing coming out yet. Oh, there it comes. Starting to drip. Transmission fluid should be warm, so it should come out fairly easily. It is cold out, so that is the reason I warmed the transmission up there first. Yeah, it's hot, but barely. Okay, let's see if I can get on the other side here. Oh, yeah, now she's right out. We'll just let that go a minute here. Basically, once it starts dripping like that, just let it go. It'll stop at some point. See, it's still running out of there pretty good yet. Like I said, I just changed the transmission fluid here maybe 4 or 5 months ago. So the fluid is not that old. Brand new filter and brand new gasket. And of course, brand new fluid. Looks like it is slowing down a little bit. The whole problem with this is, of course, the amount of fluid that is still in this pan yet. That is always the fun part. And that's where things tend to get messy. Very, very messy. Okay, let's set you folks over here a minute. See if I can get under there and get another screw or two out. Oh, it's only just like that it stops. Okay. Let's see, I got a couple more over there. Okay. I'm gonna have to go around the other side now, I think. Probably going to be the last one I'm going to be able to get with a drill here. I'm going to have to go over to the extension. Okay. Never did understand why they don't put drain plugs on these transmissions. Never quite made sense to me, but there isn't. And I can't say I've seen one that has a drain plug in it either, at least not that's factory installed. I've heard of a few people, putting them in, but I've never seen one actually in factory installed into a transmission. Okay, 2 bolts remaining, and a lot of fluid. There's probably, I bet you, 3/4 of fluid in that pan yet. guess that's all that's going to come out. I'm kind of surprised by that. Oh, there we go. Gotta love the smell of that transmission fluid. Not really. Oh, here's the fun bit. We got 2 of them remaining in there. Not a whole lot coming out, so I guess it's time to pull the trigger. We'll loosen them up just a little bit more here, see if we can get a little more out actually. There it comes. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Wonder if I can get these out by hand here a minute. Get rid of that. And one more. And I'll see if we can keep from taking a transmission fluid bath here. That's never fun. Okay. Oh, that's right, folks. Here it comes. This is the part that sucks. It's just a little bit too wide for the... Okay, and you folks should be getting a nice view of the bottom of the pan. I don't know what it looks like yet, but I'm interested to see it once I get it flipped over here. I don't know about you folks, but that's a pretty nice looking pan if you ask me. Now keep in mind, it was just, like I said, 4 or 5 months ago, but I don't see a whole lot of anything in the bottom of that pan. Which is, I'm glad to see that. I was a little afraid when I was going to pull this off, there's going to be a lot of crap in the bottom, but there's not, so. Okay, we're going to let that sit and drain out probably a little bit. I'll take that filter off a moment. Now we're going to pop that filter open too if I can. I'm not sure how it opens, but I want to take a quick look in there, see if there's any crud in there. And by the way, folks wondering why I'm doing this, if you didn't watch the last video, I do have another video there. I did vacuum testing this thing. I kind of explained the problem there, but if I get a minute, I'll explain it again what's going on here. So I'm going to guess that's probably a 10. Oh, oh, maybe not. That might be a 9. Or an 8. No, maybe it's some standard size. Okay, we're going to use a 10 millimeter because I don't have my standard set out here. Shouldn't be very tight, so that shouldn't matter. Okay, that must be a long bolt on there. Oh, there we go. Okay, and filter's off. There's probably a little fluid in that yet. I don't know if you folks can see the color of that or not. It actually looks red from here. I'll just leave that there. And I'll try to get you guys a shot of this here in a moment. But well, for now I'm just going to let this sit and drip for a little bit here, and then we'll probably come back. Okay folks, we're back again here after letting the transmission drain for a while. Got the new filter out of the box here. Came with a new gasket. I'm just going to reuse the old one. Like I said, the old one's not that old. And to be honest, I think I prefer those other rubbery gaskets compared to these. I think this is a cork one. So got the O-rings on it. Small one there, bigger one here. Came with some new bolts. And I was just reading the directions here. And I just had to mention this. I thought, you know, blah, blah, blah. Some use a longer filter mounting bolt. Others use a shorter bolt. Well, they came with 2 bolts here. You know, if you need a shorter bolt, use the spacer. Just a stupid question here, folks. Why would I not just use the shorter bolt? I mean, you can see if you put the spacer on here, these bolts are both the same length. So why not just use the shorter bolt? Unless they maybe need to put the spacer on that one. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just going to reuse the original. I mean, it's a bolt. What's going to be wrong with the bolt? Same threads, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, like I said, going to reuse the same one. Got it setting up here. Kind of wiped it off. You know, a little bit of cardboard crap on it. You know, just made sure it's nice and clean. Drop that in there. We're going to slide down there and put that on. And let's see if I should turn you folks up so you can actually see something under there maybe. And I'll take you folks along here too so you can see. Hopefully anyway. Getting a nice close up there. But there's the transmission. Hopefully I don't drip on the camera. It's still dripping out a little bit yet. But there's kind of the heart and soul of your transmission there, the valve body. So, let's see, I gotta remember, this goes on which way again? Looks like it probably goes on like so. Get the bolt out here so I can actually stick it up there. There's that hole, and there's that hole. And yes, you folks probably can't see nothing here. There's the transmission filter up there. Okay, there we go. And I'm sorry I can't really get you folks a closer view here, but all set. It's been dripping now for about, maybe 3 hours or so, so it should be pretty good. And we got the pan over here. I wiped down the gasket and the mating surface underneath the gasket here, so that's all clean. Just wiped out the inside of the pan real quick. And like I said, pan was pretty clean. Not much of anything on the bottom really. Didn't see anything, you know, metal shavings wise or sludge wise or whatnot. So that is a good thing. So we'll get that mounted back up under there in a minute. And let's see, where can I set the camera here so you folks can see? How about right there? So what we're going to do, we're going to get a couple bolts, put them in there. And what will happen, this gasket here will hold the bolts in. You don't have to get them all in, just get maybe like 2 on each side or something like that. And then time to figure out which way the pan goes back up there. Let's see. I believe the one with the 4 bolts here is the front. So there we go. And I'm going to wipe my hands off a minute here. I feel a little dirty there. I want to try to be as clean as possible when putting these back together. Oh, one thing I'll note, I just happened to realize that there's no magnets in this pan here, and I'm not aware there's one like in the filter or nothing. So I thought one thing I'm going to add here is I brought a couple magnets out. If I can find them anyway. Gotta find which pocket I put them in. Okay, found the magnets. I thought I put them in my pocket, but I couldn't find them. They were stuck under my coat here to the metal zipper. So somehow they got out of my pocket and went to the metal zipper. Anyway, see if I can get these apart here. I've got 2 magnets. And oh my goodness, folks, I cannot get these apart. Be careful, I'm going to hurt myself. There we go. Okay. And I figure we'll just put one like dead center in the bottom there. And maybe I'll put one, let's see, that'll be, put one there. That looks like a good spot. Okay, we'll get that mounted back up under there here. Grab the camera here. And see if I can get you guys a little better view this time than you had last time. Okay, there we go. Hopefully you folks can see now. And I got the drill all set up. Perfect. Okay. And like I said, okay, double check make sure which way this lines up here first. Another thing that helps, it's got a little jog out here, lines up with the transmission, so just like so. Okay, I think those are pretty good. Always a good idea to start your bolts by hand, by the way. Okay, it should be just one more. Hopefully there's one bolt left yet. Hey, look at that, folks. One bolt left. Perfect. You gotta like it when you're putting your bolts back in. You need one bolt, and there's one bolt left. Okay, let's tighten these suckers up a minute. And we're gonna put it on ratchet mode, and we'll just Well, that was interesting. Okay. And I'm gonna have to get the rest of my hand here. Or I guess I could put the extension on, but okay, we'll just go around and tighten them down nice. Don't have to be too crazy tight. There's probably actually a torque spec for these, by the way. In fact, I know there is. Well, like I said, just nice and snug. And we'll, of course, have to get under here once we start putting the fluid in it. Double check, make sure we ain't got nothing leaking anywhere. Okay, there we go, folks. Double checked them all twice. We should be good. I'll be back in a moment here once we're ready to pour some fluid into this transmission then. Okay, folks, we got everything buttoned up underneath the truck. Going top side here. The transmission filler tube right in the back here with the dipstick, which is surprisingly no fluid on it, so we'll just wipe that off, make sure it's nice and clean. Oh, should I say not so surprisingly, because the transmission might be empty? Okay, now this is always fun, because this stupid little thing right here is like in the way. Like kind of stuff that in there like something like so. There we go. And then, transmission fluid of choice for today. Valvoline Max Life. And I did not realize when I bought this, but this was full synthetic. I did not actually realize that, but we'll go with it. I've used this Max Life product before. Works really good. So we're going to give it a try here on the old transmission. I've never used the transmission variety in particular, so I'm not sure about that, but get rid of that cover. Okay, and I might come around the other side here. Wow, that's some funny smelling transmission fluid. I don't think I've ever smelled transmission fluid like that before. Make sure we're going down good here. And we'll probably pour like half this thing in here, then we'll go down there and check, make sure nothing's dripping back out. I don't see nothing dripping out yet. Transmission is supposed to hold, I believe, 10 quarts of fluid. When you change it though, you really only need to put about 6 quarts back in. So 10 quarts versus 6 quarts, so there's actually 4 quarts of fluid in there yet somewhere. Okay, we got probably, I don't know if it, okay, I guess this is quarts, so we got 1 quart, 2 quart, we got about 2 quart in there now then. So let's set that there for the moment. And we'll take a quick look under here, make sure nothing is leaking. Okay, I don't see nothing yet anyway. So we'll pour the rest of this in. And like I said, this is some funny smelling fluid, folks. I've never, it smells different than the normal trans fluid I'm used to. So yeah, we should be able to pour a full one of these in and then about half of another one. But what I'm probably going to do, once I get the 4 in here, I'm probably going to start it up. What I've found, you pour the full amount in like right away, it seems like it dumps it out the overflow tube. So I found you start it back up, let it pull some of that fluid into wherever it needs it, and then continue pouring the rest in. Okay, a little bit more here and we're almost out of this gallon. Okay, and this is the Mercuron fluid. Works for blah 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 blah. Check. Okay. This truck, by the way, takes the Dexron 3. That is actually what this truck is, so. Anyway, like I said, we're going to fire it up here in a minute. Take my gloves and rag out of there. Pretty close. We'll let that run just a minute here and then we'll check the level if we can. Okay folks, just checking the fluid level. It looks like we're right by I am with the end of the cloth here. That's the level at the moment. I have not shifted it into gear yet, so we're definitely a little high, but I think that'll go down once we get it going here. Plus, one thing I found, you pour the fluid down the same hole you're checking from. there's fluid running down that hole, and it tends to throw your reading off. So what I'll probably have to do is let it set a little bit, come back and check it again a little later, and get a good reading that way. So let's go shift this thing into gear. And get off my seat. I'm sitting there. Okay. Tire's going. So we haven't wrecked nothing too badly yet. And you know what, while we're sitting in here, let me just close the door and we'll see if we get a little bit quieter in here. And I'll try to explain to you folks what the transmission problem is. I think I mentioned this in the last 2 videos I've done on this already. Started off with a vacuum modulator change, which I did not have any trouble with the transmission after doing that for a couple months. Makes me kind of wonder. And then started off with the last video here where I checked the vacuum, which also seemed to be good. So, the problem is, go put into a, drive into a parking spot, and I'm just gonna put this into park here a minute. There we go. Okay. Go drive into a parking spot, park, you know, go do whatever you gotta do, namely work mostly. You know, so at work, drive into the parking spot, you know, get back out of work, go back out of the parking spot, so we put it into reverse, back out just fine, not a bit of problem, you know, go to shift to drive, and it's like the transmission just sits there in neutral. And I don't think, you know, folks, is it slipping, is it in neutral? I think it's in neutral because the RPMs will shoot through the roof. You know, I can step on it, it doesn't do anything. I can shift back to reverse and it will do nothing. I can shift down to 1 or 2 or anything on here, it will do nothing. You literally got to sit there and wait a minute. I've never actually really timed it. It feels like a minute or 2. You know, shift it back to drive and away we go. Never any problem after that. Anyway, we had a lot of problem with that, so I finally started, rather than driving into a parking spot, I started backing into the parking spot. So that way, you know, when I go to leave, I just drive out. That worked pretty good for a while, until I actually started having troubles. I'd drive out just fine, I'd get to the driveway, you know, pull out onto the road, and then again, the truck would be like it was in neutral. Even though I have not changed nothing, it would still be in drive. I'd stop at the, you know, end of the driveway. I'd go, you know, take my foot off the brake, go to the gas, you know, and boom, RPMs would shoot through the roof and nothing. You know, I could go back to here, shift it to reverse, shift it to 2, shift it to 1, shift it to whatever. Do nothing. It, like it was in neutral. You know, again, wait a minute. Feels like a minute. I think it was probably maybe more like 30 seconds. You wait. It would finally, and you could generally feel it, you could feel it shift. You can also feel it, boom, and away you go. So that's kind of been the, hopefully I'm explaining that. That's the best way I can think to explain the transmission problem. Hopefully that makes sense. A couple folks were asking, you know, has the maintenance been done regularly? Yes, the maintenance has been done regularly. Change the fluid every, I don't know, 3 to 5 years. I'd have to go look at the maintenance log to know when it's been changed every time, but anyway, let's get back out here again and check that fluid level. Okay, folks, looks like the level is still right about there. It's either too full, which I kind of honestly doubt it is, or it's too full. But like I said, I kind of honestly doubt it is. It's probably going to be more in there, hopefully. What I'm going to have to do is let it sit. Like I said, the fluid, when you pour it down the tube there, it seems like it throws your readings off. So I found it works best to come back and check it later. So either I'll do it later today or tomorrow. And you'll just let the transmission warm up and check it again, make sure we're good. Either add some more, or if I have to, take some out. I hope that's not the case, but never know, I guess. So anyway, with that, folks, I think that'll wrap up the video here of the 1988 Ford Ranger transmission fluid change. Trying to alleviate the problem with the transmission. Now, I don't expect this to fix it, by the way, folks. I don't think it will. But we're just changing the fluid because of the color. So, and we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I've used that Max Life Valvoline stuff before. It's worked really good on a lot of stuff. So we'll see if it does any tricks in this case. So anyway, folks, thanks for watching and have a Happy New Year. Okay, folks, well, just one more thing here before I sign off. I forgot I said I was going to take a look at the transmission filter. Pried her open here. And this is what we got. One speck of something here, and then there's a couple, you can see a little speck there. There's a couple little specks here. I don't know if you folks can even see that on the camera. You should be able to see that one. In fact, I'm pretty sure you can, because I can see that on the lens, the viewfinder here. Whatever it is, though, it's not metal. It feels like a little piece of, I don't know what that is, almost fabric-y, if I can say the word. Anyway, a little something there. Probably not going to focus, I don't know what that is. But yeah, there's not a whole lot on that filter, as you can see. And of course there shouldn't be. I mean, the filter's only, 4 or 5 months old. So anyway, that'll wrap it up there with that.